right?
Yes.
We have to back up and literally think, if it pops up on our screen, who made it pop up and why?
Right.
Who made it pop up and why? And also, how did we contribute to the content that we're seeing?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's not solitary. I think that's one of the things that I know Jimmeka is trying to emphasize. It's really raising the conscious level of who we are in the midst of all these media choices, or maybe even not choices, because some of it is, as you said, being just pushed at us, but they're there for a reason.
Exactly.
And everyone, oh my gosh. So what about being a citizen of democracy? How do we do that?
So just connecting to there's four components of the framework of media literacy, which we spoke about, which is accessing, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. And what I love about media literacy is that it allows us to create a space for citizenship in this democracy in which we live in. And so it gives voice to the voiceless. It empowers individuals to become critical in the messaging and also contribute to the messaging and create. And so through that, we're empowering people to be citizens in the media world, in the space that is connected to our physical realities. So anybody want
on that point, like I was thinking, like, all those notifications, bling, 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 you have like 4 new messages. We could turn them off and say, like, no, you're not going to keep pushing stuff at me, right? And all of our students listening have the same power. Like, say to the pusher, like, no, I don't want you to ping me every 2 seconds.
That's true. And I agree with you. But I think for most peers, the choice was to turn on the notification, because that is something that does come up. And so they're choosing certain pieces of it. I think one of the things to add to this is that, you know, you don't really know how much the media is in your life until you've actually spent a week looking at how much it filters in. And that's one of the things that I certainly do with students of mine, where I say, take a week. Don't use your iPhone app where it's telling you how many hours you've been on. Literally look at yourself consciously from the minute you wake up in the morning till the time you fall asleep, what you are engaging in, what you are choosing to engage in. And a lot of the students that I work with will say, you know, in some ways, it almost becomes like an addiction. You know, they're just putting their fingers and swiping and swiping and swiping, because they're doing it. It's something they've gotten used to doing, and it's boring, and they will say they're bored. But in that's where I think it leads to, you know, Merve, to talk about, you know, what is a digital citizen and how you become that participatory person.
Yeah, thank you, Belinha. Yeah, so digital citizen is defined, the way that we define it, as common sense. So someone who can think critically about the opportunities and the challenges of the digital world and use technology responsibly to learn, create, and participate. So what does that mean? That means that as we think about the way that media plays a role in our lives, that we are thinking critically, that we're behaving safely, we're participating responsibly, and that we do have agency in regards to the decisions we make. Yes, there are patterns that have been built to make it easier for us to go down a rabbit hole. Yes, we have content that might be pushed to us that maybe how did it get there? Something told that algorithm, you might be interested in this. Something that we input, something that we could also choose to divert away from, something that we can choose to stay away from. So when we think about something's pinging us and it's saying, oh, I missed something, I need to look at this notification, part of that is recognizing, what is this fear of missing out on something that I need to see what every alert is? Is it really pressing, or is it just that feeling of being excluded, or that feeling of, oh, I wonder what it is this time, that kind of high, that dopamine rush that's like, ooh, what could it be?